What's up, good people? It's your boy Sawan Belcher. This is me taking action on Instagram and YouTube. Today I wanted to talk about a topic that I heard Mr. Richards speaking about. Now, Mr. Richards is a YouTube influencer. He's been posting for years. I love following his content. But at the same time, he posted this video today that I absolutely disagree with, and I figured I'd share my opinions with you. It's so crazy. I can't even believe that this is his opinion, or I don't know if he was doing this, just to provoke more people to watch it because it was, provoked a little more conflict or not. But I disagreed completely. He said that it's easier to get wealthy when you're renting a house versus it's not as easy to get wealthy when you own a house. And I absolutely disagree with that. And I just want to state my points here. Now, I've already commented on Mr. Richards, video, and I've actually let him know that I'm making this video. But I want to go ahead and state what my truth that I believe on this particular fact. Okay. Now, here's a couple big differences in renting and owning. Okay. The first thing is that when you rent a property, you pay more than what the actual mortgage is. When you rent a property, you pay more. See, because the thing is, when people are renting property, they have to be able to pay the homeowner of the house, the landlord. They have to be able to pay their mortgage. They have to be able to pay the maintenance on the property. They have to be able to pay property taxes for the year. They have to be able to pay for insurance on that property, and they have to be able to pay and at least allocate funds towards that property being vacant for a couple months after that said tenant moves out. So essentially, those expenses get passed on to the renter. That's why it's beneficial for the landlord to rent that property. Now, I will say in one scenario, he mentioned his $750,000 house and what it would rent for if he rented that house. But realistically, who is renting a $750,000 house? Let's say on average, that $750,000 house, that mortgage, actually, I think he even said in his video, that mortgage is going to be upwards of $6,000 to $6,500 a month. Okay. Who's renting that 6,000 square foot house? No one. Most renters, they are renting, 2-bedroom, 1-bath houses, 3-bedroom, 2-bath houses. And then on a larger scale, maybe 4-bedroom, 2-bath houses that's upstairs and downstairs. And typically people are renting properties up to about, $4,000. Unless you're in daggone California where, a 2-bedroom is $4,000. But on average, people are paying, $4,000 or less on average. And, you guys let me know if I'm wrong or right. But once again, no one is going to rent you a property for less than what they have on a mortgage. Because if they do that, what will happen is that landlord will start to feel the financial pinch of those expenses. And when that happens, they will let you know, hey, I'm selling the property. You're going to have to move out here. When I sell the property, I'm going to give the new buyer, the determination if he wants to keep you or not. The second reason why I believe that owning builds wealth over renting is that owning builds up stability. Now, we purchased a new personal house, I guess about 6 months ago. It took us a while to actually get in it. Maybe a little bit longer than that, but took us a while to get in it because the moving was crazy. We didn't know how much stuff we had in our old house. We had stuff in the attic, had stuff in the shed, stuff in the storage, beds, all kinds of stuff, clothes, all in the house. And so just the movers took just the big stuff, and it cost me $2,000 to have them help me move that stuff. And then it also took me 2 weeks for me to just take time going back and forth with my truck and trailer, packing up stuff, piling it on, and bringing it over to the new house. So realistically, that was like a $3,000 move, maybe $3,200 move. And so if someone who's renting a property has to move, let's call it leases are a year or 2-year leases. If somebody has to move every year or every 2 years and incur these kind of expenses just to move, that makes you unstable, right? You have an expenses going out the window that doesn't benefit you at all. You see what I'm saying? That $2,000 or $3,000, you could, you definitely could buy another house. You definitely could buy a house. You definitely could invest in some stocks, right? You definitely could use that towards paying down your car note, right? You definitely could use that towards your credit card debt, right? You definitely could use that towards something else that would be able to help you, make some money, like start a business, To say that renting will bring more wealth, it's like, what are you talking about? Right? The third reason why I think that this was a bunch of baloney was because that as an owner, I'm able to get my money that I've already spent on my property out of the property, even though I've already spent it. So my mortgage that I put into it, the mortgage money, the insurance, the taxes that I put into it, the maintenance that I put into it, the fix up that I put into my property, I can extract that money if I wanted to. This is called principal pay down plus appreciation. Now let's think about this. A renter wanted to get the money back that they paid in rent. Let's call it they've been renting for an average of 2 years. Let's call it on average $1,000 a month. So they've paid, it'll be $24,000. Let's call it $24,000, an average of $1,000 a month. They like to get their $24,000 back. Let's think about how the renter could get their $24,000 back after renting a property for 2 years from the landlord. How can they get it back? They can't. They can't. They may get a security deposit back, but after 2 years, you already know that landlord is going to find something to write down to bring the security deposit down to zero. Come on now. They can't get that money back. Before an owner, somebody that lives in the property or somebody that rents out the property, there's several ways they can get their money back. Well, number one, if your rent is $1,000, I bet his mortgage is $800 or less. All right. So when you're spending $24,000, he's spending $18,000. So he's already got the one up on you in the beginning, just on monthly payments. All right. If he wants to get his $18,000 back after 2 years, what he's going to do is go up on the rent. Say, forget that. I'll put $18,000 into this property here. It's a good house. It's in good shape. Been providing an awesome place for this person to stay at. I'm going to go up on the rent. Look at market rents. Market rents say they can go up, $200. So he can go up on rents to get his $18,000 back. All right. The next thing he can do is he can take his lease with you over to a mortgage company and say, hey, I want to do a refinance. I've been paying down this property for the last 2 years. The property's going up in value, right? Because the properties appreciate over time, right? And I want to refinance this property. Right now, I owe $150,000. It's worth $225,000. I want to get my $18,000 back that I put in. He can absolutely do that. He could always choose to sell the property like what we talked about before. He could say, forget you, Mr. Tenant. Forget the $1,000 a month. I'm going to sell the property right now and get my $225,000 right now. Come on now. So to say that it's easier to get wealthy by renting versus owning, I just don't feel that that's right. Because literally my house back here is appreciating while I go to work, while I go to dinner, while I go to my kid's school. It's going up in value. I don't have to try to do that. That's nothing I have to do to have it go up in value. Now, there's things I can do. I can definitely add some countertops and some cabinets, and that will help it go up in value. But it's going to go up in value no matter what, because people are going to be continuously buying and selling and renting property without me. You see what I'm saying? So consider that. Okay, consider that. And the last reason why I think that, Mr. Richards was just trying to perk people's ears up on this conversation about renting is, easier to get wealthy with renting than owning. It's just because, seriously, if we only rent, what will we ever own? What will we pass down to our kids to give them a shot? A lot of white people that I talk to, a lot of kids, that are white, their kids leaving them 10 properties, 20 properties. Mr. Bennett, one of my best investors that sell me property all the time, his dad left him and his sisters 250 properties. You know what I'm saying? They've been selling a couple properties a month for the last 7 years. They'd have made over $4 million in the last 7 years just selling, just off of the work that their parents put in, not having to put any new work. This man hunts just for fun. You know what I'm saying? Because he can, because he has these assets on his back that he didn't have to work for, that his parents left behind for him. You know what I'm saying? Imagine me leaving this property here with our Airbnb here with this house, with the football field and the basketball court that makes money, and leaving that to our kids, and instantly the day I die, my kids have income. That is amazing. But yet a renter, when you pass away, you leave behind a lease for your heirs and another moving bill. Crazy. But look, what's your thoughts on this? That's just my thoughts. I honestly believe that God created the heaven and earth and all the animals, the land and the sea. And then he created man. So he created us to work on the land, Why would we not take full advantage of that? And why, when we do that, when we obey what he's made for us, why wouldn't we get some kind of benefit from that? I absolutely think we do. So this is my commission to you. Take charge. Do your thing. Own some property. Buy something. Okay? It's time to go get it. Peace, y'all. Remember that you don't need all three: time, money, and knowledge to make your first $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 check in real estate investing. You just need two to do you. Peace, y'all.